ever get stuck, like really stuck replaying old mistakes?
Oh, absolutely.
Feels like we've all bought a ticket to Regret City.
Yeah, the population. I don't know what.
Exactly. But what if I told you there's a way out? Today, we're going deep, a real deep dive into leaving the city of regret. This is our roadmap, our guide to ditching the past and really stepping into a brighter future. What do you think?
I love it. And, it's a journey we can all relate to,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. And what I find so interesting about regret is how often it comes from assumptions we make about the past.
Hmm.
Not necessarily the facts, just, our thoughts about it.
So we're talking about like making up stories in our heads and then feeling bad about them.
Exactly. We create these what-if scenarios,
Mhm.
twist reality a bit,
All right, right.
amplify the guilt, the shame, the whole 9 yards.
Okay, so how does this source define regret? Because it's not just about, feeling bummed about a bad decision, is it?
Well, no, it makes a distinction between regret and what it calls godly sorrow, which it argues can actually be a catalyst for positive change.
All right, so break that down for me. What's the difference?
So regret, think of it like this. It keeps you stuck. A cycle of self-blame, shame, right? It whispers, you messed up and it's too late.
Right.
Godly sorrow, though, that acknowledges the mistake, sure, but it focuses on growth, on learning.
Okay.
It says, okay, you stumbled, but now you have this opportunity to rise above, maybe make amends.
Gotcha. So it's less about the mistake, more about how we respond to it.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that's crucial because, the source really drives home this point that dwelling in regret, that has a powerful, often negative impact on our lives.
Yeah.
It uses this image. Regret, it empties anticipation, flattens dreams, suffocates hope.
Wow.
Like we're willingly, trapping ourselves.
Yeah. Like a prison almost.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's funny because I know when I'm stuck in that regret spiral, it feels impossible to picture a positive future.
Right.
Like my brain's on this endless rewind.
And that's the danger, right? This constant replaying of past mistakes just drains us mentally, emotionally.
Yeah.
Prevents us from focusing on the now, on building that better future.
Absolutely. And you know what? The source has this story that really brings this to life. It's about a young woman, Racheal, very talented musician,
Okay.
but she let fear and self-doubt just sabotage her dreams.
Oh, wow.
Now, years later, she's drowning in regret, convinced it's too late to pursue her passion.
It's classic, isn't it? How regret just steals your motivation. It whispers this lie. You've missed your chance.
It's heartbreaking because I think we all have dreams we've put on hold.
Absolutely.
And fear, self-doubt, life just gets in the way.
Oh, it does.
But to look back years later and feel like I missed my shot, that's tough.
It is. It really speaks to this idea of opportunity cost, right?
Mm.
When we let regret paralyze us, we're not just missing out on growth now,
Right.
but we risk repeating those same patterns later.
So true. So how do we shift our focus from, the what ifs to the what now?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
Well, the source highlights this story about a business opportunity that went south.
Okay.
Significant financial loss really hit them hard.
Oh, I bet.
But instead of getting stuck in the what ifs,
Yeah.
they chose to really mine it for lessons,
Okay.
extract that wisdom, and move on.
So it's about shifting that focus from what if to what now, right?
Yes, acknowledging the past without letting it write the future. But, the source takes it even further,
Oh.
brings in Peter, the disciple.
Yeah.
Talk about regret. He denied Jesus not once, but 3 times.
Oh, yeah. That's some heavy stuff.
Right. But the story doesn't end there.
Right.
Peter was forgiven, restored, even became a leader in the early church. Imagine that.
It's powerful, right? Like even our biggest mess-ups don't define us.
Exactly. Self-forgiveness, accepting ourselves, those are key to moving past regret into something better.
So it's not about pretending we're perfect, but recognizing our worth despite our imperfections.
Exactly. Okay, so we've talked about the problem, but how do we actually break free?
Right, yeah, because it's one thing to say move on, but how do we actually do that?
Right, well, the source, it lays out 6 practical steps, almost like,
Like a roadmap.
yes, a roadmap for personal growth, transformation, something anyone can follow.
Okay, I like where this is going. So where do we start? What's step 1?
Step 1 might seem obvious, but it's often the hardest. Embracing forgiveness.
Yeah, that's always a tough one.
And not just seeking it from others if we've wronged them, but forgiving ourselves. That's huge.
Oh, yeah, that inner critic can be brutal. Why do you think we're so hard on ourselves?
I think deep down, we all crave acceptance, but instead of giving it to ourselves, we get stuck in self-condemnation.
Right, like beating ourselves up over and over.
Exactly. And the source reminds us, dwelling in the past, regret, missed opportunities, it robs us of the present moment.
It's true. Like that saying, can't drive forward looking in the rearview mirror, right?
Exactly. And step 2 builds on that. It's about shifting our focus to action,
Okay.
taking small but intentional steps today aligned with the future we want.
So instead of saying, I wish I'd been a musician, you'd be like, time to dust off the old guitar.
Exactly. And that's where step 3 comes in.
Yeah.
Starting small.
I like it. Small steps, big changes.
Right. It's about consistency, not intensity. Building resilience, breaking free from regret, it doesn't require a complete life overhaul.
That's good, because I think sometimes we get overwhelmed thinking we need to change everything at once.
Absolutely. And the source, it points out that when we focus on small, consistent actions,
Yeah.
we build momentum, right?
Yeah.
Like that saying, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step.
And sometimes taking that first step is the hardest part.
So true. And, the source uses Racheal's story again to illustrate this.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, after years of telling herself it's too late for music, she decides to just start, but small. Instead of aiming for rock star status overnight, she commits to practicing her guitar 1 hour every evening.
Just showing up consistently, that's huge.
And as she does that, something amazing happens. She reconnects with her passion.
It's like that muscle memory, not just for playing, but for dreaming again.
Exactly. Just showing up for herself, even in a small way, it reignites this spark in her.
It's a good reminder for all of us sometimes. It's about rediscovering the joy in the doing, not just chasing some big outcome,
Absolutely. And as Racheal continues, the source points out this shift in her perspective.
What happens?
She starts to find joy in the process itself, not just the end goal.
So it's not just about escaping Regret City. It's about finding joy in starting again, right?
Yes. And that leads us beautifully to step 4, seeking support.
Oh, that's so important, having people in your corner.
Right. Because we're not meant to do this alone. It's not just about having cheerleaders, right? It's about people who can offer honest feedback, maybe even a little tough love when you need it.
Yeah, someone to hold you accountable.
Exactly. And Racheal, she discovers this as she starts connecting with other musicians, mentors, people who get it.
Right.
They believe in her talent, encourage her to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And through these relationships, she finds the strength to overcome that fear of failure, Starts sharing her music with the world.
There's something so powerful about having that support system, especially when you're just starting out feeling vulnerable.
Absolutely. And it ties in perfectly with the source's emphasis on remembering our worth.
Yeah, because it's so easy to let those past mistakes define us, right?
It is. It's so easy to get stuck in that cycle. But this step, it's about challenging those negative self-perceptions, embracing our inherent value.
So less shoulda, coulda, woulda, and more about recognizing our strengths, what we bring to the table.
Exactly. Our worthiness, it's not about our past mistakes, not about perceived failures. It's about silencing that inner critic, choosing a more compassionate, more empowering story.
Love that. And it seems like Racheal starts to embody this as she goes deeper into her music.
She does, right? The source talks about how she lets go of that narrow definition of success.
Yeah, like fame and fortune.
Right, all the external validation.
Yeah.
Instead, she focuses on the fulfillment of creating, of sharing her music authentically.
Which is ultimately what it's all about, right?
Absolutely. It's a good reminder for all of us. When we detach our self-worth from those external measures of success,
Yeah.
we open ourselves to a whole world of possibilities, and we find that joy in the journey, not just the destination.
It's like we're trading in those participation trophies for true inner satisfaction,
Exactly. But, it's one thing to talk about these concepts, but the source, it really brings it to life with this analogy of Regret City. Have you ever been there?
Oh, I think we've all visited Regret City at some point, haven't we?
Right, with its Wish I Had Airlines offering nonstop flights to shoulda, woulda, coulda land.
Oh, man, those flights are always delayed.
Always.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the Last Resort Hotel hosting the annual pity party.
Ugh, I've been to that party. Not fun. It's like a never-ending cycle of what-ifs and if-onlys.
Exactly. But here's the thing. We have a choice. We don't have to stay stuck in Regret City.
We have the power to create a different destination.
Yes. And the source, it gives us this alternative. Starting again.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. Tell me more.
Imagine a place. Okay? Streets paved with second chances, the air buzzing with new beginnings.
It's like hitting the reset button, not to erase the past, but to make space for something new.
Exactly. And that's what I love about this analogy. It reminds us we're not starting from scratch, right?
We're bringing all our experiences with us.
All of it. The lessons learned, the resilience we've built, the wisdom, even from those moments we might regret.
So it's less about erasing the past and more about integrating it into our journey of starting again.
Yes. And the best part, we don't have to do it alone. In starting again, we find the I forgive myself, the new starts, this whole community ready to welcome us with open arms.
It's that sense of belonging, that shared experience that makes all the difference. So powerful. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to ditch Regret City and book a one-way ticket to starting again.
Me too. And to our listener, we ask, what about you? What regrets have you been holding on to? What dreams have you been putting on hold? Are you ready to leave Regret City behind?
Because remember, the path might not always be easy, but you have the strength, the resilience, and the support to create a future filled with hope, purpose, and the joy of living authentically.
Beautifully said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time.